And we are live. Welcome back to Takes by Fans. We got a great show for you today. As always, we are live every single day at noon Eastern. If you want to watch live, head over to twitch.tv/takesbyfans. If you want to watch but not live, head over to our YouTube channel, Takes by Fans. We post all of our shows and clips of the show there on a daily basis. And if you just want to listen, we are on podcasting apps, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio. So however you want to watch or listen, we've got you covered multiple ways. Alrighty, today is a big old Monday. We will be continuing on today with our NFL team refresher. We just wrapped up the Raiders part 2 yesterday, so it's time to spin the wheel again and see what team we will be refreshing our memory on. What happened last season? What did they do in this offseason? Who did they get through the draft and free agency? How are they just looking so far through training camp, the couple of days that we've seen so far? And then we'll walk through their schedule for this season and give them their win total. We've done a couple of teams already. We've done the Saints, projecting them to go 6-11, the Broncos going 10-7 or 11-6, Raiders going 10-7, and Washington going 10-7 with the ceiling, a very high ceiling of 13-4. We believe in the team. And then we'll also keep a kind of ranking list as we go on with all these teams that we are kind of covering up until the start of the NFL season, which we should be able to do. Season starts September 9th. Fantastic. We do have preseason football this week, Thursday. Oh my goodness, I can't even wait for it, folks. It's going to be absolutely fantastic. So we are truly in the full swing of football season, folks. If you are not ready, if you are not feeling it, I don't know what to tell you, because it's here and it's already in full swing. It's so great. So let's start here with the stories of the day. And the first one up, we got to talk about Carson Wentz. So we do have a brand new updated information, but let's just kind of, stay the course of what has been going on so far. So we know Carson Wentz got a little banged up with his foot. Truly unfortunate, like his second practice. How unfortunate. But Colts quarterback Carson Wentz said he's going to be opting for rest in rehab over immediate surgery. Alrighty, so he's going to plan on, I'm not going to have surgery. I'm just going to kind of rest and let the foot heal. Wrong, because just 5 minutes ago, folks, Colts head coach Frank Reich said Carson Wentz will undergo foot surgery. So that was a real quick decision. Frank Reich was like, no, you're having the surgery. I brought you in here. You got injured. You're having the surgery. You think you're just going to lay around on my dime and my kind of genius that you're wasting? No. Get your ass in the lab. Get your ass to that doctor's office for surgery, because you are playing this year, mister. You understand me? You think you're going to get away with another injured season? Go get that foot fucking fixed and come back here in 5 to 12 weeks. 5 to 12 weeks. Oof. So we know the start of the NFL season is September 9th. So let's walk through 5 to 12 weeks. Today is Monday, August 2nd. So next week is the August the 9th. That's 1 week. Then we get August 16th. That's 2 weeks. Then we get August 23rd, 3 weeks. August 30th, 4 weeks. And then September 6th is actually 5 weeks, folks. So the minimum, if everything goes according to schedule, if he's gotten surgery already today, I don't know when his surgery date is. It was just announced today. So we could be talking about Tuesday or Wednesday, which, changes things a little bit. But 5 weeks from today is September 6th, and that would be before the start of the NFL season, which is the next Sunday, September 12th, for the Sunday, and then obviously September 9th for the Thursday night game. So if everything kind of goes great in the recovery process, the rehab process, we could potentially see Carson Wentz at the start of the season. I don't think that's going to happen. That seems a little too quick. And we know Carson Wentz has just never. When has everything gone right for Carson Wentz? Nothing. So I would kind of expect the back end for the 5 to 12 weeks to be basically 12 weeks right here. So we got 5 weeks at September 6th. Let's continue on to see what 12 weeks is looking like. So we're at September 6th. Add another week, that's September 13th. Add another week, that's September 20th. Then we're at September 27th. Then week 9 9 weeks out would be October 4th. 10 weeks is at October 11th. 11 weeks is at October 18th. 12 weeks is at October 25th, folks. And what are we looking like in terms of weeks in the NFL at October 25th? Let's quickly take a look here. October 25th, October 24th is week 7. So he would kind of be halfway into the season by now. Going into week 8 is probably Carson Wentz's targeted comeback date for this Colts team. So expect about 8 games missed, 8 weeks missed here by Carson Wentz. If it goes the long haul of the 12 weeks, if it goes 5 weeks, he could be back before the start of the NFL season, which would be kind of crazy. So a real quick turnaround right here for Carson Wentz, him wanting to rehab and not have surgery, but it seems like the team was kind of pushing him to surgery. Hey, get this shit cleaned up 100%. Don't rehab it and be like, all right, now I'm feeling good, and then as soon as you're back out there, you're going to get re-injured because you always get injured. You are always injured. You are injured now. You have been injured in the past. You said the injuries were behind you. Takes by Fans said the injuries were behind you, and we were going to win a ring this year. But now here we are in preseason, in the training camp era, and you get injured. You're having the damn surgery. You understand me? Get this shit cleaned up, fixed 1,000,000,000%, and I don't want to see you injured again, because one more, we'll give you one buffer, we'll give you one kind of extra injury, but one more, and we're seriously done with you. You understand me, Carson? We're going to toss you aside. We'll toss you in the trash and have you taken out on Tuesdays when the garbage man comes, and you will be in the landfill, and nobody will come looking for you because they're just saying, he's just trash. He belongs in the landfill. So Carson Wentz is going to have surgery. Truly kind of interesting, the quick turnaround in the decision. Kind of seems like he was kind of forced into it a little bit. But we had this article queued up. The latest reports indicate Carson Wentz will try to avoid surgery on his injured foot and potentially be ready for week 1 if all goes well. Full breakdown of what we know so far. So let's go into this because we still don't know the exact injury. Nobody's saying the exact injury just quite yet. Is it the Liz Frank injury like we've heard? We've heard it is Liz Frank and we heard it's not. But what we've seen from Liz Frank and kind of the symptoms and all that, it does seem like a Liz Frank. So let's see what this kind of article here by PFF is truly saying. Maybe we get a little bit more extra details on here. So let's go through this short article so we can go through it quickly. Here we go. The Indianapolis Colts are only one training camp highlight into Carson Wentz's era, and the bad news injury has struck. After ESPN's Adam Schefter and Mike Wells initially reported Friday that Wentz was out indefinitely with a foot injury, Colts head coach Frank Reich added a layer of much-needed clarity for the developing story. And Frank Reich says Carson Wentz has an old foot injury dating back to perhaps high school, according to doctors. Interesting. Over time, the broken bone came loose and caused pain. The decision has been made to undergo surgery and remove it 5 to 12 weeks. Wow, alrighty. So, wow, they've already added this tweet in here. Impressive. All right, so this is not the Liz Frank injury. This is just a injury that he's had since high school. Real interesting. The bone came loose, so the surgery is basically just going to be removing this bone from his foot. Interesting. Let's see what else we get here in the article. The recovery timeline for the Wentz injury is critical to the condition within the trade of the Colts made with the Eagles for the 28-year-old. Say, all right, so we already know this. We already went through the timetable now with the surgery. We got anything else? Schefter reported Saturday the Colts signed veteran quarterback Brett Hundley. However, Reich showed a lot of confidence in former Washington quarterback and 2020 4th-round pick Jacob Eason on Monday. And we also saw Jacob Eason. We loved what we were seeing from him. Definitely liked Jacob Eason a lot better than Sam Ehlinger. And the plus side of Jacob Eason was that he was learning under Phillip Rivers last season. He had the entire year of experience under his belt, wasn't playing and never took a snap, obviously, but still just that kind of just being in the present, being in the moment on an NFL game, on an NFL full schedule, getting to see what it's truly like in the highest level of competition of football in the NFL, and Jacob Eason got to see that for a year behind a potential Hall of Fame candidate in Phillip Rivers. So we can kind of buy into Jacob Eason, and now, we're talking about 5 to 12 weeks. Week 8, Carson Wentz comes back. I mean, Jacob Eason, he could kind of get it done for 4 games or 8 games, 7 games actually. Try to go 3-4, 4-3, 5-2. Try not to go kind of 2-5-ish during those 7 games. But I mean, if you can go escape that at 4-3 or 3-4, I think that's fine for Carson Wentz to come in and really just kind of seize the moment and try to secure their playoff positioning at the kind of back half of the season. I don't think that's kind of anything out of the question that this Colts team can achieve. So we're not totally bailing on this Colts team yet. Are we bailing on our Colts Super Bowl prediction? A little bit, but we're not going to totally abandon it. We're still believing the Colts will win the Super Bowl because Carson Wentz will be there at the end of the season. So this is a good sign for Carson Wentz. This isn't a new injury, so we can breathe a little bit of a sigh of relief as well, because if this was a new injury, then all right, it's a new injury. He's always injured. We can kind of start selling Carson Wentz, but this is an old injury that he's been dealing with his entire career, just never really took the time to get it fixed, never really thought it was going to be an issue until it became an issue. So we are still not selling Carson Wentz just quite yet. We are still buying into him, and it's a little bit of a sigh of relief that this is a pre-existing injury for Carson Wentz and nothing new that he just sustained this season with this Colts team. So Carson Wentz is going to undergo foot surgery, out 5 to 12 weeks. If everything goes absolutely magnificent, no hiccups, no nothing, he has it in the next kind of 2 days, he can be back by the start of the NFL season before week 1. But if it kind of goes the long haul here, we're looking at a week 8 return for this man. And hopefully the Colts are kind of above, kind of at 500 when Carson Wentz returns. And we think they can still go and get that Lombardi trophy. So that's the update on Carson Wentz, folks. Went from real kind of not great to all right, it could have been a lot worse. This is a decent scenario for the Colts. All right, let's keep moving on here. Let's go and talk about the 49ers quarterback. A little bit of a quarterback duel here, but we have heard that Kyle Shanahan reiterated a couple of times already in training camp that Jimmy Garoppolo is going to be the starter. He's the starter, basically. But we have a little bit of interesting conflicting reports here. So let's talk about Jimmy Garoppolo first, and then we're going to talk about what people are saying, what defensive coordinators are saying about Trey Lance, who they drafted this season to kind of be Jimmy Garoppolo's injury replacement. So here we go. Kyle Shanahan says Jimmy Garoppolo at his best can beat out any rookie. So that's huge, great sign here from Kyle Shanahan believing in Jimmy Garoppolo. They've gotten to the Super Bowl. It's just like we've said, the injuries of Jimmy Garoppolo hold him back and hold the team back because the quarterback is the most important position on an NFL team. So let's see what Kyle Shanahan's saying about Jimmy Garoppolo and if he is still kind of the starter like we assume he is and like he's already said he is. So here we go. Trey Lance will ultimately replace Jimmy Garoppolo as the San Francisco's 49ers starting quarterback. Really? Really? Is that right? Who's saying this? What do we got? We got Kevin Patra of NFL.com. Really? I don't know. Ultimately, I guess if you're just talking about Jimmy Garoppolo retiring and then Trey Lance is younger, so yeah, but I don't know about ultimately. I think it's a good probability, but I don't think we've heard about 100% certainty, and I still think if Jimmy Garoppolo can stay healthy the next couple of years while he's still under contract, maybe he gets an extension. Obviously not big time money, but I still think as long as he's healthy, he will always be the 49ers starting quarterback until he's not healthy. So I don't know about ultimately, but let's see. Maybe he's got something to back it up, but let's see. Trey Lance will ultimately replace Jimmy Garoppolo as the San Francisco 49ers starting quarterback. The Niners wouldn't have traded a yacht load of draft capital unless they had faith in the rookie's transcendent talents. Interesting. All right, the question for Kyle Shanahan and the 49ers is when Lance will get the gig. Throughout the process, the Niners brass has insisted the starting job is Garoppolo's. The unstated caveat to the instance unless Jimmy G falters. Speaking to Peter King of Football Morning in America, Shanahan noted his belief that Garoppolo at his peak is better than Lance or any rookie. Quote, "It's not been as hard as you think. In this business, if you're trying to plan out the next 6 months and say, where's it going? That's a mistake. You can't do that. What I told Jimmy Wright when we made the trade is I don't know any rookie who can come out and beat you out if you're playing at his best self, if you're playing at your best self, at his best self. I didn't necessarily think he was there last year at training camp. Then he had the injuries and stuff. But right now, I see him playing well out there. If he can continue to go that way, that's great for Trey. That's great for our team. Then Trey can wait till he's at his best self, which doesn't happen overnight. So, alrighty. So, it does kind of seem like what Kyle Shanahan just said there, that it is going to be ultimately Trey Lance taking over. Obviously, you want to kind of wait a little bit, get Trey Lance definitely up to snuff. I mean, taking a year and just sitting behind the starting quarterback, I mean, it's really done wonders for a lot of quarterbacks. Obviously, Aaron Rodgers behind Brett Favre. You had Patrick Mahomes sitting for a year. You had Lamar Jackson. He didn't sit the entire year, but he sat for a lot of the year, and when he came out, he was kind of getting it done. So, I mean, it's not a knock with you sitting for a year. It's just everyone wants to see what you got. Everyone wants to see you kind of be out there year one and see you improve and all that, where you started from and where you are now and all that. So that's kind of why, just kind of in the kind of spotlight of the media and spotlight of social media and the spotlight of just fans, it's kind of seen as a knock if you don't start your rookie year, but it's really not that much of, it's really not a lot of knock at all. It's just kind of, all right, we want to kind of see you improving. We know you can be great, and we don't want to see you get discouraged here, and we are still kind of in a win now mode, and we're always going to go with the best quarterback for the job. And so Trey Lance just learning behind Jimmy Garoppolo while he's healthy and getting kind of Trey Lance the kind of full year under his belt, like we just talked about Jacob Eason. Yeah, he never played a snap, but just that huge experience of just sitting and seeing how the NFL operates. I mean, folks, you're going into a totally new system. I mean, we're talking about 21, 22, 23-year-old rookie quarterbacks out here that only know college, that only know NCAA sports. And then you get into, the actual big business, the biggest brand of sports in all of America, really. And you just get thrown in there. You get a couple of months. Here's a couple of months to get ready. Once you're drafted, here's a couple of months to get ready for your first primetime game that everybody will be watching on kind of ritual football Sundays. So, no kind of knock here on Trey Lance getting better, and kind of does seem like what Kyle Shanahan, kind of the words that he used and the tone that he was kind of using here on this quote, that it is ultimately going to be Trey Lance's job, and probably Jimmy Garoppolo has 1 year max. If Jimmy Garoppolo can stay healthy this entire year, he will be the starter for the whole year, but come next season, it's pretty much looking like it's going to be Trey Lance. All right, let's see what else we get here. Any more quotes? Let's keep going here. Perhaps the most interesting part of Shanahan's response is that he admits Garoppolo wasn't impressive last season, even before the injuries sideswiped the season, and the Niners eventually cratered. Okay. It's the opposite of what the San Francisco coaching staff has said of Jimmy G this offseason, glowing about how the quarterback has impressed. It appears the draft move has motivated Garoppolo, who is fighting to keep his job for as long as possible. Despite suggesting Jimmy G at his best will keep Lance on the bench, Shanahan also admitted anything could change in the coming weeks and months. Quote, "I truly don't know what's going to happen here." And then if we also go back into his earlier quote, saying, quote, "In this business, if you're trying to plan out the next 6 months and say where it's going, that's a mistake." So, yes, right now, Jimmy Garoppolo is our starting quarterback because he's healthy and because Trey Lance is still a rookie going through kind of the rookie process of training camp and just getting acclimated to NFL speed and system and rhythm and all of that. So, yes, Jimmy Garoppolo is a starter right now, but anything can happen. We're not going to be planning out 6 months into the future, 3 months into the future, not even 1 month into the future. We're not not going to be doing that. What is right now, who's healthy right now? All right, you're in then. You're in, Jimmy G. Get in there. You're healthy. We're going to roll with you. But come week 4, come week 5, 6, 7, 8, whenever Trey Lance is truly kind of proving that he can go out there and play starting quarterback in the NFL, Kyle Shanahan isn't really going to be that hesitant on starting him. So this is really interesting, and I'm glad that we're reading this article because just kind of what I was, just my perception of this 49ers team going into this article was that it was Jimmy Garoppolo. We heard all the praise. We were hearing Kyle Shanahan praising Jimmy G, saying that he's absolutely great when he's healthy, and he's healthy right now. So that's why, we were a little uncertain with that first sentence of the article saying Trey Lance will ultimately replace Jimmy G. We were just like, that's not what we've really been hearing through the grapevine and just kind of, the quick quote here and there as we were kind of going in this offseason. But now, 100% of just these 2 quotes that we've read already, it seems like Trey Lance is literally waiting in the wings and just waiting for that right opportunity to take him off the bench and throw him into the starting role. So, real interesting, folks. Let's keep going here. We get 2 more quotes. Reports from 49ers camp suggest it's been an up and down learning process for Lance thus far. Not surprising for any rookie, particularly a quarterback. The North Dakota State University product has mixed in some errors and wow throws. However, it's the guts the rookie shows at times that have turned the heads of fellow teammates. Quote here by Kyle Shanahan. We're on the practice field now, and you're a first-round pick, so everyone's looking at you. Your no team wants to see your talent level, which he has, but they also want to see how he carries himself. I think that's what they've been impressed with. He doesn't know everything yet. He's still trying. This was his 8th practice since he's been here, including the OTAs. But Deebo Samuel comes up to me at one point, and he's like, this guy's got some balls, and I think that's what the guys feel. He goes out there, and he's not scared to fail. He goes out there and lets it rip, and there's some good, some bad. Players can feel it. When you're not scared to fail and you're talented, you do things the right way. Guys believe it's a matter of time. So a matter of time, Jimmy G with his injury history, we're not looking 6 months ahead. So everything is truly pointing that Trey Lance really has a real great chance of playing at some time this season. And it kind of does seem like it's trying to be sooner rather than later, but it's really all depending on how quickly Trey Lance can get up to snuff in this 49ers offense. So the coaches feel confident that he can go out there as a starting quarterback and be a productive member, a game manager quarterback at best, or at worst, I should say, at worst, a game manager quarterback, and then just go from there. So Trey Lance starting to impress a lot of people here for the 49ers. You love to hear that. We weren't the biggest kind of believers in Trey Lance as we were kind of heading into the draft, but everything that we've been seeing, hearing about Trey Lance since training camp has really just kind of been rising our stock on Trey Lance overall. So watch out, 49ers. Trey Lance could be the starter. Fans, get ready. Get your kind of Trey L jerseys. Throw out those Jimmy G ones. There's a new era of quarterback brewing here with the 49ers. And then we get this now. So we just heard all the praise from really his own team on Trey Lance, but now we're getting defensive coordinators praising Trey Lance. We get this quote, just kind of anonymous defensive coordinator. No name to it. Nobody's putting his name to it, but he is a defensive coordinator in this league, and this is what he says, quote, "It would not surprise me if Lance was starting midway through the season. I think he has a little bit of the Mahomes type traits." I mean, throwing around the word Mahomes all loosey-goosey like that is blasphemous. So this man, if he truly knows what he's talking about, and calling this man saying that he's got a little bit of Mahomes type traits, geez Louise, what are these Mahomes type traits? I mean, obviously leadership. I mean, everything we hear from Patrick Mahomes is just like, oh my goodness, I love it. That's a leader right there, 100%. Everything that comes out of his mouth. So he's got great leadership qualities. Obviously, in just the arm, talent-wise, the deep ball is fantastic. The no-look throws, the pure finesse when it comes to throwing the ball, knows exactly where he has to place every single ball. If it's a tight throw, a tight window, it doesn't matter. Patrick Mahomes is going to put it in the only spot that the receiver has to make a play on the ball, where the defender has no chance as a breakup, a swat, a pick, anything like that. So that's kind of Patrick Mahomes' best traits: his leadership, his finesse with the ball, his playmaking ability. So if Trey Lance is showing just even small traces of those signs, watch out for this man, folks. Woo, this man's going to be dangerous in this league. So we'll see if Trey Lance can get it done. But everything we've been hearing about this man is just, like we said, it's rising our stock in him. So yeah, let's see what he's got. It wouldn't surprise me if Lance was starting midway through the season. Kyle Shanahan saying we're not going to be planning 6 months ahead. Hey, Trey Lance, Jimmy G, your time is up. Your time is up. You're going to have to move on. It's Trey Lance era here with the 49ers. And if he's as good as everyone's making him out to be, sheesh, man. This freaking NFC, what is it? The NFC West is absolutely phenomenal. Seahawks, Rams, Cardinals, 49ers. Jeez Louise, best division in football, hands down, folks. Jeez. Watch out for Trey mother-loving Lance, y'all. I can't wait to see this man in action. Jeez, I'm on the Trey Lance train, folks. Buckle up, because the train is leaving the station any moment. And if you're still on the little old Jimmy G wagon, I got some bad news for you, because that's stalling and that's not going anywhere, and we're going to be partying here on the Trey Lance train all the way to the Super Bowl. I'm believing in it. I got Trey Lance Super Bowl hype on me now, folks. I love it. Woof. Let's see what this man can do. Let's see how quickly this man is a starter in the league. I cannot wait. Alrighty, let's go to another quarterback right here. This time we get Jameis Winston talking to the media. Yes, sir. They say this is Jameis Winston's first time talking to the media, even though he's been with the Saints for 2 seasons, because he's always kind of been the backup, and you're always talking about Drew Brees, and why would you talk about Jameis Winston? You know what I mean? So Jameis Winston, kind of first time hearing from him, and this is kind of something that we wanted to see from Jameis Winston, just kind of how he kind of communicates with the media. Obviously, we want to see him kind of be a better vocal leader to his own team. We all remember the infamous "Let's Eat a W" speech. We did not like that. And you were able to kind of learn and kind of get tutelage under Drew Brees for a year. So he's in this kind of press conference right here, just talking to the media, and he's sounding real confident. I'll give him that. This man kind of is sounding like a true veteran quarterback in this league, and just how he's just talking to the media, and just saying that he's got as many reps this training camp than he did all of last season. So that's going to kind of make us buy into Jameis Winston a little bit more, getting all these reps, showing what he truly can do here for the Saints. So I'm excited to truly watch this quarterback battle get into kind of the full swing. We're just starting to kind of get into full pads probably early this week. I know some teams, I believe, are starting. Like the Jags are kind of going full-time competitive in practice. We're starting to kind of get into that second week of training camp where everything is going to start to get ramped up 1,000%. The first couple days of training camp, the first week of training camp, it's usually just kind of getting the basics down, making sure we all know the same plays, making sure the timing is down, and then when we put on pads, it's a full go out there. You better be ready, because defense is trying to make the team now, offense is trying to make the team. So defense is trying to shut the offense down, and the offense is trying to make the defense look absolutely abysmal out there by just getting whatever they want, whenever they want. Passing, running, doesn't matter. So Jameis Winston is, hey, we're liking what we're hearing from him. It's going to be a tight quarterback battle between him and Taysom Hill. We have chosen as Taysom Hill as our official starter. We've already done our Saints team refresher, breaking down what they've all done this offseason, and we've just got to go with Taysom Hill as a starter. But I'm loving what I'm hearing from Jameis Winston so far, kind of seeing and hearing that he's learned a lot from Drew Brees on just kind of how you have to carry yourself in the NFL as kind of the face of the team. Everything is really dependent on you. The whole success of the team is dependent on how well the quarterback goes out and plays. And Jameis Winston handling himself like a true pro out here, saying he's getting all these reps, saying he wants to get better and all this, and you love to hear it. So Jameis, it's not that we don't want Jameis Winston to win the starting job. It's just that I want to see what Taysom Hill can do, because I've seen what Jameis Winston can do, and it's great. Don't get me wrong, folks. It's mother-loving great. 5,000 yards, 30-plus touchdowns. I freaking love it. The 30 picks, obviously we don't. But I want to see what Taysom Hill can do for a full season, because I was loving what we were seeing from him in glimpses last season, making all the throws. Jameis Winston does have a bigger arm than Taysom Hill, but Taysom Hill has that real great dual threat ability, and he's got a solid arm that can be kind of a Ryan Tannehill-esque arm. So, well, maybe a little bit lighter. I think I'm disrespecting Ryan Tannehill. The man can throw the ball like more than 50 yards. Taysom Hill seems to be maxing out at 50 yards, which is a little light as a starting quarterback. Definitely got to be 55, 60. But that's really our only knock on Taysom Hill. But if Jameis Winston is truly learning all this from Drew Brees, truly kind of just absorbing all the knowledge that I'm just assuming that you would pick up by just being around Drew Brees seems like an open book if you want to pick his brain and pick his mind. I don't think he's ever going to kind of clam up or be like a Brett Favre type that's like, no, I'm not mentoring you. You're my replacement. Why would I make you get better? Because you're going to make me look worse now. So why would I ever do that? I don't think Drew Brees ever had that type of attitude. So we'll see how much Jameis Winston wanted to learn from Drew Brees, how much he took away. But from just how he's kind of talking in this press conference, it does seem like he's learned a little bit from Drew Brees. So I'll give him the credit for that. A lot of credit for that, actually. So I'm rooting for both of them. But Jameis Winston, we'll root for him a little bit more now. You earned our respect a little bit more, and that's all I can ask for. So very well done to Jameis Winston, and we'll see how he kind of goes now that we're truly getting into the competitive stages of training camp. And as we kind of get into the competitive stages of training camp here, we got a real solid look here of Urban Meyer at a press conference. I believe this was yesterday. This was either Saturday or Sunday. I believe it was Sunday. But we get Urban Meyer talking a little bit, and he kind of brought up the notion of, everything hasn't been competitive yet. We're just getting into really the competitive sessions of training camp Monday. Today, we know they're practicing today as well, and we're going to have a little bit of an update there. Let's talk about, there's two things to talk about in this Urban Meyer press conference. First one is Gardner Minshew, and the second one is Tim Tebow. So let's start here with Gardner Minshew. Now, Urban Meyer was asked, how do you feel about Gardner Minshew kind of handling kind of the narrative of, the number one quarterback being drafted and, it's basically his team and all that. And Urban Meyer was like, yeah, he's kind of handling it like a true pro and all that. So that's great for Gardner Minshew. But what Urban Meyer also said here in this press conference was, everything has kind of been non-competitive. No pads, no nothing like that. This Monday, competition is really going to ramp up here. So now we're truly going to get the quarterback battle into full swing here for the Jaguars. Trevor Lawrence or Gardner Minshew. Yes, Trevor Lawrence was the number one overall pick, but Urban Meyer said time and time again that this is a true open quarterback competition. And Urban Meyer says that he's going to start tracking everything. So it's not just kind of I forgot the word he used. It's not going to be kind of like anecdotal. It's going to be kind of factual. Makes, misses, great throws, great looks, all of that. Truly gauging and keeping a record of how these two quarterbacks are looking. So the best quarterback truly wins, and it's not just optics getting in the way. This is kind of factual data that they've been seeing from the two quarterbacks in the open quarterback competition here for Jacksonville. So we're going to hold Urban Meyer to that. Is it that Trevor Lawrence is truly beating out Gardner Minshew? Because we have been liking a little bit of what we've been seeing from Gardner Minshew. His stats are really good, and when we kind of look at the Jaguars and our season refresher for the Jaguars team overall, I want to spend a little bit heavy on Gardner Minshew. Let's look at some tape. Let's look at how this man is throwing the ball. Yes, the Jaguars were trash. That's why they had a trash record. Gardner Minshew's stats were very, very solid for, actually very good for on a trash team, but is he doing enough to contribute to wins? And why they were losing was just because the team was overall trash. Organization at the top was trash, down to the players were trash. So we'll take a little bit of a closer look at that, but just the stats-wise, we've been loving what we've been seeing from Gardner Minshew. So I want to see this man get a true opportunity to win the starting job and not just, automatic Trevor Lawrence just because, he was your number one overall pick. So Urban Meyer is saying today is basically the start of training camp for the Jaguars. So keep an eye out for how the quarterback battle is going between Trevor Lawrence and Gardner Minshew, because Monday today is the start of true competitive nature, true competitive spirit, according to Urban Meyer, for the Jaguars training camp practices. Alrighty, so that's Gardner Minshew portion. Now let's talk about Tim Tebow, because he had a little bit of a couple of quotes here about Tim Tebow. The first one being, really the only one, that Tim Tebow, he says he's got good hands, and we've been seeing a lot of kind of Tim Tebow hype on our timeline. A lot of people, oh my God, he caught a pass, he caught a touchdown, oh my God, this man's going to be great. So Urban Meyer did say Tim Tebow's got good hands, but he did throw this little dig in there, says he's a little inexperienced, Tim Tebow is, and he also said that Tim Tebow is always kind of going for body catches. Urban Meyer's like, the man's got great hands, but his lack of experience, he's always going in for body catches, trying to, catch the ball with his body. But then he also goes to say that as we kind of get into the more competitive side of training camp, which starts today, that Tim Tebow is going to have to kind of play for the ball a little bit more, since it's kind of, two players going at the ball, the offender and the defender. Tim Tebow's going to have to be aggressive and go out and kind of win the ball, outstretch his hands and go out and grab the ball and then secure it to your body, because if you're just trying to secure it to your body, then the defender's going to go out there, swat it away, or pick it off. So it's not all kind of roses of what we've been seeing from Tim Tebow this far, folks. He is still kind of showing non-position type stuff, kind of inexperienced type stuff of not going and catching the ball with his hands and securing it with his body. Now, him not being a part of Tight End University is definitely kind of hurting him, because they would have been telling Tebow this, a couple of months ago. So Tebow's definitely going to have his work cut out for him. And yes, we've been seeing some solid catches by Tim Tebow, but that still doesn't make him a good player. Now we're going to get into contact, full contact. How is Tim Tebow truly kind of, block shedding and all that? Yes, everyone's saying, oh my God, he's so jacked, he's so ripped, he's so strong, all this. But I mean, when you're just kind of, you can look big, you can look strong, but that doesn't mean you are strong. And when you're going to have to kind of shed a blocker, or when you're going to have to block and release and get out to the route on time, is Tim Tebow going to be strong enough to do that against these linebackers that I mean, this is their entire job that they've been kind of perfecting for their entire career? So don't get too big on Tim Tebow just quite yet. We're entering the kind of second phase of training camp starting this week for the Jaguars. It is starting today. Maybe for the other couple of teams that started maybe a day later, it's going to be like a Tuesday or Wednesday. But we're going to start getting into full pads, full contact, and that's where we're really going to see what Tim Tebow's made out of. And that's what we're going to wait to make our official judgment if Tim Tebow can be a starting tight end in this league. It's really going to come down. I don't care what you're doing against no defense and not in pads. He's not even going out there and catching the ball like you're supposed to. So I'm not buying into Tim Tebow at all. So some nice information out of here from Urban Meyer, and we'll obviously are going to be keeping a close eye on this Jaguars team for multiple reasons. Obviously, the first one, Urban Meyer. The second one, Trevor Lawrence, Gardner Minshew. The third one, Tim Tebow's on the squad, and it's a circus, and we don't like it. So we're going to kind of critique it very heavily. So Jaguars, folks, open quarterback competition. Looking real good. And then, like we said, the first day was today of kind of the true competitive side of the Jaguars training camp. And then we just get this. So hopefully Urban Meyer is truly tracking this down now. If he's saying he wants to kind of have the data to tell him who the best quarterback is, we get this. Trevor Lawrence having a tough one with 3 interceptions today. not great when you got Gardner Minshew waiting in the wings and still playing very, very good so far in training camp. So the numbers are starting to count today. The competitive is starting to count today, and Trevor Lawrence is floundering with 3 picks. We'll see who the starting quarterback is, and if Trevor Lawrence just goes out there and flops big time like he kind of is so far today. Alrighty, let's keep moving on here. This one is potentially dangerous and fatal for this Ravens team. Ravens head coach John Harbaugh said Marquise Brown's hamstring injury is worse than initially thought. Not great. That is never great when something is worse than you initially thought. Not great at all. So let's see what's going on here with Marquise Brown. Obviously, we know he's not their kind of number 1 wide receiver anymore. They did bring in Sammy Watkins. Let's get their depth chart up. I also believe they went out and got a wide receiver in the draft, Rashad Bateman. Wow, they still have Marquise Brown as their number 1 wide receiver on the depth chart. I thought it was going to be Sammy Watkins just because of the height threat and Marquise Brown not kind of being that deep ball receiving threat like Sammy Watkins can be. So, alrighty, so Marquise Brown is still labeled as their number 1 wide receiver. Interesting. So let's see what's going on with this injury, this hamstring injury. Do we have anything else to say about this? So this is what we get. Here we go. Baltimore Ravens coach John Harbaugh said wide receiver Marquise Brown, who has missed 3 straight practices, is dealing with a hamstring injury that is worse than initially thought. Rookie wideout Rashad Bateman is sidelined with muscle tightness. So that's not great, having all your wide receivers out for training camp. So hamstring injury is definitely nothing that you want to play around with. It always kind of, comes up in the worst spots. Hamstring injuries never truly go away. So this could definitely hurt the Ravens team this season, where it's starting to become a lot of pressure on this Ravens team. I mean, Lamar Jackson and Patrick Mahomes will always just kind of be compared because they've really came into the league at truly the same time, and they're kind of the same quarterback. Great dual threat quarterbacks. Obviously, Lamar Jackson a little bit speedier than Patrick Mahomes is, and Patrick Mahomes has already been to 2 Super Bowls and won 1. So there is a lot of pressure on this Ravens team. Whether it's fair or not, it doesn't really matter. The comparison is always going to be there. So Ravens really need to start winning now and getting into deep playoff runs and really getting to Super Bowls. I mean, that's really what they have to do. Winning it, they don't have to win it. They really just have to start getting to the Super Bowl so Lamar Jackson can keep pace with Patrick Mahomes overall. So this is not great. Obviously, Marquise Brown being out, not getting the practice in, this hamstring injury being worse than they initially thought, not great. Maybe he doesn't kind of go week 1. Maybe he has a couple of weeks throughout the NFL season where he has to kind of be out because of the injury. The hamstring is kind of tightening up and he can't go. His kind of weapon is speed, and speed and hamstring don't mix, folks. I mean, just look at RG3. That's why this man can't play anymore, because he's too fast. He's popping out his hamstrings. We just saw it last season. So not great here. Rashad Bateman also being out, once again, not great, because he's really going to have to be their main man this season, honestly. I don't know how much we can believe in Sammy Watkins. Is Rashad Bateman tall? He's 6'1", so that's great. I believe Sammy Watkins is 6'2", potentially 6'3". What do we get? Oh, he's only 6'1". Interesting. So, Rashad Bateman can truly kind of be the deep threat receiver if he kind of shows out here, but he's not practicing. He can't show out and can't build that repertoire that is needed between quarterback and wide receiver with Lamar Jackson. So, Marquise Brown being out, Sammy Watkins, I mean, it's just a question mark on him. Can he return to prime form? It has been yet to be seen. And then it just leaves Rashad Bateman. And then, then we get, Devin Duvernay and Miles Boykin and Tylan Wallace. And it's like, can we expect Lamar Jackson to win with the 3rd through 6th string wide receivers? So, not the greatest here for this Ravens team. Really kind of early in training camp. Hopefully this kind of hamstring injury for Marquise Brown isn't truly anything that bad. Yes, it's, initially worse than what they thought, but it's not too bad, and he's still ready to go week 1 and kind of be as productive as he can, full production for the entire year. So things are not seeming that great here for Baltimore. And Lamar Jackson's going to have to kind of suck it up and step it up. I mean, we can't just kind of give Lamar Jackson a free pass just because he doesn't have a lot of good wide receivers. We can't do that for the man. So it's going to be sink or swim, next man up mentality, and we'll see who goes out there and kind of steps it up as a receiver for Lamar Jackson. But Marquise Brown hamstring, not great. Alrighty, let's go to this now. We get a top 5 takeaways from Albert Breer. Every training camp that he kind of is present for, he kind of runs down his top 5 takeaways from that day of practice and all of that. So let's see what Albert Breer is saying this time from the Colts. Alrighty, let's see if we get any information on Carson Wentz, even though we already know he's going to get surgery. So here we go. Takeaway number 1, cornerback Kenny Moore has been a good player, but looks like he's gotten stronger, more explosive, and is better playing outside now too. Big year coming. Alrighty, let's quickly take a look at Kenny Moore on what he did last year in the NFL. We're going to our favorite website right here, Player Profile, when we can break down the corners here in the NFL and what they're doing against the best of the best at the wide receiver position. So let's see what cornerback Kenny Moore is doing last season. Alrighty, against Justin Jefferson, allowed 6 of 11 for 73 yards. He had 2 pass breakups and an interception. Not terrible. Against Anthony Miller of the Bears, 4 of 7 for 47 yards, 1 pass breakup, 1 pick, not bad. Against Jarvis Landry, 3 of 7 for 45 yards and a pick. Man, oh man, this man's a pick machine. You love to see it. All right, against Tyler Boyd of the Bengals, 6 of 8 for 66 yards, 2 pass breakups, and a pick. Man, oh man. Against Willie Snead, 5 of 6 for 35 yards. That's a pretty solid lockdown. Against A.J. Brown of the Titans, 0 for 0. Love it. Look at that. Alan Lazard of the Packers, 3 of 6 for 40 yards. Not terrible. A.J. Brown, game 2, 1 of 3 for 10 yards. Man, oh man, give that man. That's a lockdown, baby. Kiki QD of Houston, 5 of 10 for 59 yards, 2 pass breakups, and yet another pick. Hunter Renfrow of the Raiders, 3 of 5 for 21 yards and a pick. That's a big ol' lockdown. Kiki QT, game 2, 6 of 8 for 60 yards. Once again, solid there. And then Juju Smith-Schuster, 9 of 11 for 96 yards. Never gave up 100 yards to anybody. Really was only giving up 10 yards a catch allowed. A lot of picks, a lot of pass breakups against some solid tier effort here. A.J. Brown, Juju Smith-Schuster, Hunter Renfrow, Alan Lazard, Willie Snead, Anthony Miller, Justin Jefferson. Some real solid wide receivers and never really truly got burned. So if he's looking even better, this is a great sign here for this Colts defense to be absolutely spectacular, which they are probably going to need the first 7 weeks of the season now that Carson Wentz is basically 100% out for the first 7 weeks, first 7 games. So, all right, huge, great note there. All right, takeaway number 2, defensive end Kwity Paye flashed early. One word that kept coming up, fast. Should have a role right away. So we are big on Kwity Paye. Do we have on our corner or our defensive end big board? We do. We do have him as our 3rd defensive back of the 3 that we've looked at. We do have Azeez Ujulari, number 1 of the defensive ends, Carlos Bateman, number 2, or Bashman, number 2, and then Kwity Paye, number 3. But if Kwity Paye is coming out looking good, looking fast, we can definitely get behind that man, no worries. All right, takeaway number 3, tight end Kylen Granson has justified Frank Reich's pre-draft love, but a more under-the-radar rookie to watch, wide receiver Michael Strachan, size-speed ratio showing up in his play. Alrighty, let's quickly take a look at how tall Kyle Granson is. Obviously, we're taking a big in-depth look at tight ends this season in the NFL. Tight end university, baby. We are big proponents of that. We love it. So let's see what Kyle Granson is looking like. I just want to see his height. Are we talking 6'6"? Are we talking 6'3", 6'2", 6'4"? Kyle Granson. Bring up his attributes. All right, Kyle Granson, 6'1". Oh my God, 6'1". I don't even want to talk about you. That's disgusting. That is absolutely trash. I cannot get behind that at all. I'm sorry. No disrespect to him, but disrespect to his height, absolutely. Even Tim Tebow, 6'2". So, no. Cannot get behind him. So we will definitely watch wide receiver Michael Strachan a little bit more than Kyle Granson. All right, takeaway number 4, linebacker Bobby Okereke is ready for his star turn as he moves into an every down role. Freaky athlete. Yes, sir. So once again, we know this kind of team is just a quarterback plug and play away. The offense is fine. Everything we've been hearing so far about the defense is looking absolutely fantastic. So truly are going to have to watch out for this Colts team. And if Jacob Eason can just be a game managing quarterback, the defense can kind of lead the way. The special kind of talent on the receiving end, on the rushing end, they can just lead the way. So Jacob Eason, don't let the pressure overcome you. You've had a year to settle in and relax. Just go out there, deliver the ball safely, accurately, and the team will do the rest. So this is great news so far for this Colts team. And then the last takeaway, the Colts really like what they've seen thus far from Carson Wentz. The day before he got hurt was the kind of head turner that made the brass feel pretty good on the trade. But injuries were the problem in Philly too, so we'll see if when he gets back, he can stay back. So he was just kind of, being kind of that Matthew Stafford looking real good, everyone feeling comfortable with that trade. Colts were just at that spot with Carson Wentz, and then he goes down. Now Jacob Eason is stepping up, and we've been hearing some good things about him so far. So hopefully this isn't a kind of already end of the season. How unfortunate. We've been calling this Colts team Super Bowl winners, Super Bowl champions this season. And now since Carson Wentz goes down, hopefully that doesn't kind of, mess up the entirety of this Colts year before it has even started. Hopefully Jacob Eason can just be this game managing quarterback like we hope he can be. And the defense is carrying it. The special weapons offensively are carrying it. The head coach is carrying it. And then when Carson Wentz comes back in 12 weeks, week 8 of the NFL season, this team can pick up exactly where it was leaving off when Carson Wentz was getting it right here. So the Colts fans, don't kind of jump ship on the season just quite yet. Everything else is still real solid. You just need a game managing quarterback at the helm for a couple of weeks. That's it. So Colts are still looking real gosh dang good out here. Love it. Alrighty, now let's kind of run through a little bit of quick comments here of what has been going on in training camp yesterday. So here we go. We get more information on Saquon Barkley, but like classic Saquon Barkley news, it is very, very tight-lipped. Joe Judge said he knows Saquon's, quote, spirit and work ethic, and also says, quote, when you're ready, we'll let you go, saying he's making progress. So once again, we get no timetable on Saquon Barkley. All we're hearing is, yeah, he's looking good, but he's looking good for where he is. No timetable. When he's ready to go, he'll go. So once again, nothing truly great that we can sink our teeth into on Saquon Barkley, and we are still a little hesitant on buying this Giants team until we know he's 100% ready to rock. So not great. And then we get this. Once again, another tight-lipped. Following up on this, Joe Judge says Saquon is, quote, making a lot of strides, saying that the Giants see a lot of tangible progress every day. Judge wouldn't say how close he is to returning to practice. And that's basically the biggest red flag that we have so far. Nobody's saying how close he is to returning to even to practice. Yes, he doesn't need to practice that much because he's been with the Giants. This isn't a new kind of scheme. This isn't a new fit. This isn't a new whole situation. He's learned under Joe Judge. He's played under Joe Judge. He's played under Daniel Jones. So this isn't going to take like a lot of practice to get Saquon Barkley up to speed, but it is still going to be a little bit coming back from that injury, coming back from rehabbing of an ACL, big ol' injury right there, and getting in touch with this line, getting back in touch with the offensive rhythm, the offensive play calling, the handoff of Daniel Jones a little bit. So it's still going to take a little bit, maybe a couple of practices, maybe even one. Maybe at one practice, one snap, he's ready to rock, but until he's out there, we don't even know. So this is why we're not big on this Giants team just quite yet. We want to get big, folks. I want to root for this Giants team. I want to say that this Giants team is going to win the NFC East. I just can't say it until we get Saquon Barkley out there practicing. Come on, man. Damn it. We're going into the second week, and the man is still no timetable. I'm getting frustrated now. Damn it. Ugh. Get this man back, folks. I love this man. Alrighty, now let's talk about Devontae Smith. We've been hearing some great things about Devontae Smith. The weight is not an issue. We get this little nugget. His release off the line of scrimmage for a young player are super impressive, says the Eagles offensive coordinator Shane Steichen. So Devontae Smith has nothing to worry about, folks. This man is good. This man is an exceptional wide receiver. This man can get it done. We don't have to worry about his weight. But the only thing we have to worry about now is that he's injured. Unfortunate. So he's got a little bit of a knee sprain, a sprained MCL, and now Devontae Smith is going to be out 2 to 3 weeks because of the sprained MCL. He just had an MRI yesterday that revealed the injury. Now, before Adam Schefter tweeted this out, I was just hearing 2 weeks, so maybe kind of 2 weeks on kind of the average-ish end, and 3 weeks just to kind of play it a little bit safe. So Devontae Smith is going to miss a little bit of time, but so far, it doesn't seem like it's going to hurt him overall. He's been looking real solid out there. Obviously, the sprained MCL is never great. It's not, the end of the world. It's not an ACL. It's just a little MCL. Nobody cares about the MCL. Break your MCL, tear it. Okay, you can still go out there and play. We don't care. We don't care. You're not coming out the game unless it's ACL or Achilles. If it's anything else, stay your ass out there. You're playing. But they're taking everything, very precautious here with Devontae Smith. First round pick. Don't want to kind of, make him too injured than he already is. Too much more injured than he already is. So Devontae Smith out for 2 to 3 weeks with this sprained MCL. Not the greatest. All right, so one player goes on to kind of the injury reserve a little bit, and then one person comes off of it. I should say PUP list. Here we go. Titans first round cornerback Caleb Farley. He is back off the PUP list. He is kind of coming off of a back injury, which is never great, especially when you're young, a la Michael Porter Jr. in the NBA. I mean, the man was looking fantastic, and then as the season progressed, the back injury started to tighten up a little bit, and the man went absolute ghost mode in the playoffs because of the back injury. So Caleb Farley is coming off the PUP list, and he will be on the field practicing today. And this is big for this Titans defense because the Titans defense is truly going to have to kind of ball out if they want to win a Super Bowl. Yes, Ryan Tannehill can bring you so far, but you really need him to be the game manager, above average game manager quarterback, and let the defense kind of carry the way as well as the kind of great offensive pieces that they have: Derrick Henry, A.J. Brown, and Julio Jones. So if Caleb Farley can kind of come in year one, rookie year, and be that shutdown corner that we hope he can be, he needs to stay healthy, and then he can help this team try to win a Super Bowl. So Caleb Farley is practicing today, and we can see what he's looking like out there, shutting everything down. Alrighty, next clip up here. Man, oh man, I mean, every day we're getting a CeeDee Lamb highlight tape, and it's just absolutely fantastic. I mean, this time it's a 50-50 ball. Once again, not thrown by Dak Prescott. We know he's got a little bit of a shoulder injury, not 100% practicing out there. Don't want to push anything with him, obviously, but this other quarterback here throws a 50-50 ball, really kind of underthrown, a little too much inside thrown as well, but CeeDee Lamb just goes up and gets the ball, fights over the receiver, comes back to the ball, or I should say defender. The defender not even looking for the ball. Real kind of bad defense there by him, but it's just CeeDee Lamb. This is what we see from this man. Just great ability. This man will go and get the ball wherever it is on the field. He's got great hands, great ball tracking ability, and he will fight for every single ball. 50-50 ball, 60-40 ball. I mean, he's even down on the percentage, 90-10 ball. There's only a 10% chance he'll go up and get it, and he does. So watch out for CeeDee Lamb year 2 out here. He's looking absolutely phenomenal. We have no worries about him, and this is why we are big on this Cowboys team, because of their receiving core, and this is why we have the Giants above the Cowboys above the Giants, because we're getting great plays like this from the Cowboys, and we're getting tight-lipped nothing bunk from the Giants organization on their playmakers. So loving what we're getting from CeeDee Lamb here. We could watch this all day, folks. I got no problem with that. Look at that. Look at that. Go and fight for the mother-loving ball. It's fantastic. Man, oh man, this is the 4th great catch we've seen from CeeDee Lamb here in training camp. We haven't really seen that from any other player here, folks. It's all CeeDee Lamb highlights every single day. All day. Look at it. Here it is. Bingo, bango. Go up and get that freaking ball. Love it. Love it. Man, oh man, let's move off of that because I can freaking watch this all day. We'll watch it one more time. Here it is. Fantastic. Go up. Yes, sir. Secured the ball. Defender was a little pissed on this one, grabbing his jersey at the end. Bro, let the man go. You got mossed. Get over it and try to get better next play. Damn. CeeDee Lamb's fantastic. Alrighty, let's keep moving on here, and this is the best. This is what I wanted to hear. I am loving this. This is probably the best thing we are going to be saying all day, folks. Forget everything else we've said for the last 59 minutes. This is the best news of training camp that has happened thus far, folks. Former Bengals wide receiver A.J. Green is off to an impressive start with the Cardinals. He has looked to have a renewed energy and has looked like a flashback to his early days with the Bengals. Oh my goodness. OG A.J. Green? Oof. Do we got to remind y'all what this man was doing? If you just started watching the NFL and don't know who mother-loving A.J. Green is, he is an OG top receiver in this league, and his only downfall was that he had to be quarterbacked by Andy Dalton and coached by, who was it, Marvin Harris? Something like that. But OG A.J. Green, not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5 straight 1,000-yard receiving seasons ever since he got to the league. He almost had 7 straight, but his 6th season in the league, 2016, he only caught for 964 yards. Womp. But I mean, folks, we are talking basically 7 straight 1,000-yard receiving seasons, folks. Magnificent. 65 touchdowns in total. The last 2 seasons, they've been kind of, rebuilding this Bengals team. So he hasn't really been the A1 tier 1 wide receiver. He wasn't really the number 1 anymore. He wasn't really playing every single game. They were looking to move off of him. So if we're getting kind of prime time AJ Green back alongside DeAndre Hopkins, if prime time AJ Green only has to be the second option, oh my goodness, with the great thrower of the football and Kyler Murray, oh my goodness, watch out big time for this Cardinals team, folks. Oh my goodness. DeAndre Hopkins, AJ Green, 2 A1 tier 1 wide receivers on the same team. Sheesh, folks. Sheesh. It's going to be fantastic. So I'm loving that we're hearing prime AJ Green flashback to his early days with the Bengals, folks. The catch percentage wasn't always great, but I mean, you're getting the ball thrown to you by Andy Dalton, folks. Do we have to remind you of his stats? Let me look up this man's completion percentage because I'm sure it's not very, very good. Let's quickly take a look. Is he kind of checking our checkbox of what good completion percentage is in the NFL? Alrighty, I mean, with AJ Green, he's throwing 58%, 62%, 61%. He had a 64%. That's solid. He had a 66% season in 2015. What was AJ Green's catch percentage in 2016? 2015, Andy Dalton threw 66%. What did AJ Green catch in 2015? He caught 65% catch percentage, his second best of his career, because Andy Dalton was on fire that season. And that's not even on fire. That's just, very, very good. It's not great. It's very, very good. So that's basically Andy Dalton, one good season. That's it. And then he's back to 59. And then he's back to 61 and 59 again. So it's not like Andy Dalton is some great thrower of the football. So that's why the low catch percentage here by AJ Green, because he's absolutely getting the ball freaking sailing over his head by Andy Dalton. But AJ Green is 6'4", folks. You got 6'1" DeAndre Hopkins that plays like he's 6'4", and then AJ Green 6'4", who plays like he's 6'4". You love it. Man, oh man. This Cardinals team, folks. Woo! It's gonna be great. Get big, get pumped for this Cardinals team, because it's coming, folks. It's coming to town. Woof, love it. All right. Let's keep moving on here. We got 3 more to go over. This is something that we've already kind of known, and we've been kind of seeing early glimpses, hinting, without trying to hint. Ron Rivera saying it's an open quarterback competition here in Washington, but we know it's really not. It's basically Ryan Fitzpatrick's job, and now we get this. Ryan Fitzpatrick has taken control of the offense. Several Washington players said they can see his love for the NFL game and have been impressed. So We've already heard Terry McLaurin praise up about Ryan Fitzpatrick. All the wide receivers are praising how great Ryan Fitzpatrick is looking out there. He's looking loose. He's looking free. He's looking good. So there's really no chance that Taylor Heineke can go out and win the starting job. It's basically Ryan Fitzpatrick. So watch out for that. Yes, it's an open quarterback competition, but it's not, folks. It's Ryan Fitzpatrick. All right, then we get this. Falcons lined up tight end Kyle Pitts all over the field yesterday. Atlanta will really be able to utilize his talents in matchup situations. I mean, folks, I've been telling y'all this man is Darren Waller, maybe even better than Darren Waller. That it will have to be kind of debated this season, and we've got no problem debating the tight ends. We will be doing that throughout the season consistently, folks. Our tight end Tuesday shows. Monday is just kind of our recap on what happened. Tuesday is kind of our cash and trash list last season, but we're going to kind of turn it into Tight End Tuesday a little bit. Wednesday, our film study. Our Thursday is our line prediction show. Our Friday is our actual pick show. That's our NFL schedule. So, yes, we will be watching Kyle Pitts all season, mother-loving long, folks. Cannot wait. And they will be utilizing Kyle Pitts all over the field like they were utilizing Darren Waller. Darren Waller wasn't just lining up at the tight end spot. He was lined up out wide a couple of times, and, that's where he's going to hit his stride because he's mother-loving 6'6" and runs as fast as a wide receiver does, folks. Maybe not as fast as DK Metcalf, maybe just a slight step below DK Metcalf, but at 6'6", I don't give a damn how fast you are. I mean, I'm throwing it up to you every single time. I don't care. So watch out for Kyle Pitts this season. He's already looking great. Alrighty, and then one last thing here to kind of solidify Jacob Eason is why, we shouldn't be jumping ship just quite yet on this Colts team. We get this. After a Jonathan Taylor fumble, Eason completes a big third down conversion to T.Y. Hilton to win the series. Man, oh man, the running back we're praising, we're gushing over the running backs here for the Colts all the time. They let us down, but it's Jacob Eason who saves the day, and that's exactly what a game-managing quarterback does. If something goes wrong, the game manager does his best to fix it without making it even worse. And that's exactly what Jacob Eason did right there on this drive. Completes a big third down conversion to T.Y. Hilton. Once again, giving your kind of star receiver the chance. I mean, folks, just give these receivers a chance to show what they can do. Jacob Eason giving the ball to T.Y. Hilton is A1 tier 1 on a third down after a fumble. Yes, sir, Jacob Eason. Hey, I think we can believe in this man 100%, folks. I think we can, and I am going to. I'm big on Jacob Eason now. I'm 100% sold on Jacob Eason. This Colts team is still going to the mother-loving Super Bowl, baby. No Carson Wentz, no problem. No problem. Quarterback plug and play, and Jacob Eason is the most recent plug quarterback, and he's already out there doing his thing. Love it, love it, love it. Alrighty, those are all the stories that we needed to cover for today, folks. So let's head over to our NFL team refresher. We've done a couple teams already. We've done the Washington football team, the Raiders, the Broncos, and the Saints. So now it is time for a new team. We will spin the wheel, see what team we get, and go over what they did last season record-wise, just kind of overall where they compare to the other teams, what they did in this offseason, who they brought in, what did they lose, who did they get in the draft, and then we'll walk through their schedule this year and see how many wins we can see this team getting in winnable games and all that. And then we will kind of rank them. We have a working list here. This is how we see the four teams stacking up so far. Out of the Washington, Raiders, Broncos, and Saints, we like the Washington team the best, Raiders the second, Broncos the third, and the Saints the fourth. So we'll see where this new team is going to kind of fall in line between these other teams. So let's just get right into it. We'll talk about a quarterback battle, if that's one of these teams that have a quarterback battle, and just talk it all through. So let's see which team we are going to be covering today. So let's spin this wheel. Wheel is spun, wheel is spinning, wheel is slowing down, and today's NFL refreshing team is going to be the Detroit Lions. Alrighty, folks, I can keep it real simple for y'all. Y'all don't want to stick around for this video. Lions going 0-17. They're trash. They got Dan Campbell. He's trash. The entire team is trash. That's our team refresher. Thank you. We'll be back tomorrow, live noon Eastern, doing another team refresher. A team that will actually win a game this season. Goodbye. All right, let's give this Lions team the benefit of the doubt, shall we? Let's not shit on Dan Campbell too much, even though we've been doing it already so much so far this offseason. So let's talk about Dan Campbell really quickly. Let's talk about Dan Campbell. He's the biggest elephant in the room. The man doesn't know anything. He doesn't know what a head coach in this league is, folks. Let's break down the circumstances, the instances that we've already seen from Dan Campbell. He wore the race car helmet to the press conference because he was like some part of a Detroit Grand Prix or something. So he comes into the press conference with the helmet on and, his voice is muffled and all that. So that was his first thing he did. And then we heard the kind of day one quote from him where Dan Campbell said, hey, I'm not going to carry around your toilet paper. I'm not going to wipe your butt. You're going to wipe your own butt, and you're going to earn, respect is going to be given until you lose it or something like that. So once again, just real baseline stuff. Nothing that really sold me. I never got pumped for that. I thought it was a real kind of mediocre, subpar, very, 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 very baseline thing to say. I kind of said that's something you say in kind of pee-wee football when you're introducing kids to the game. Hey, this is a grown man's game, and we're going to learn it here, folks. We're going to learn the fundamentals. Hey, I'm not going to wipe your butt out here. We're kind of grown men. As soon as you step out on that football field, I know you're only 10, 11, 12 years old, but now we're kind of grown men. I'm not going to wipe your butt for you. You're going to have to wipe your own butt. And that gets a little giggle out of the kids. Oh my God, he said butt. Hey, it's funny. But, when you say that to like 25, 30, 35-year-old grown men, and you tell them, I'm not going to wipe your butt for you, you're going to have to carry around your own toilet paper, that falls flat. That gets no motivation. Nobody buys into that. So once again, kind of strike two for Dan Campbell. And then we just saw what he did a couple days ago, doing the up downs with the team. And yeah, in principle, in theory, that is really good. But he wasn't even doing them the best. He wasn't touching his chest to the ground. He was kind of dogging it. He wasn't seeing the other players dogging it. We were counting like 3 players dogging the up downs there. So yes, in principle, oh my God, yeah, coach is one of us. Coach is getting down and dirty with us. Coach is practicing with us. Coach isn't telling us something that he would never do, that he can't do. Coach is with us. Yes, in principle, in theory, that gets a little respect from the team. But then we saw Dan Campbell really winded after that and catching his breath and not even looking at any of the players, and none of the players kind of coming up to Dan Campbell and patting him on the back being like, yeah, coach. So that one kind of fell flat as well. I don't think anybody respects Dan Campbell on this team. It sucks. It's unfortunate, but it's just not head coach material. I can't get behind Dan Campbell, folks. I can't. Everything that we've seen is just like, yeah, I can kind of see this is your first time head coaching in the league, and I'll give him the benefit of the doubt from that, but still, I can't get behind it. So let's quickly take a look at Dan Campbell's coaching history. What has this man been doing? I know he's been a tight ends coach. He was just the assistant head coach to the Saints. And once again, hey, you get to learn under Sean Payton, but Sean Payton would never do any of this. I don't see Sean Payton doing anything that Dan Campbell's doing. So you either didn't learn from Sean Payton or you learned from him, but for some reason isn't taking any of that knowledge and applying it here to the Lions. So it's either you're just completely disregarding everything Sean Payton has taught you, and this man is probably a Hall of Fame coach in the league. He's been to the Super Bowl, always kind of, competitive every single year. The Saints are always in the playoffs, but Dan Campbell, you're not taking anything that you've learned away from that. So what are we doing? What are we doing, Dan Campbell? Please. So let's take a full look at his coaching history. Here we go. Started in 2010 as an offensive intern with the Dolphins. Then he went to the tight ends coach for 4 straight seasons, 5, 6 straight seasons, honestly. 2011, 12, 13, 14, he was a tight ends coach. And then in 2015, he got the interim head coaching job because we fired Joe Philbin. And then he never got the job after that. He went right back to the tight ends coach. So once again, not that impressive. Also went 5-7 that season. Not the greatest. Then he returns back to Miami for the tight ends coach in 2015, and then he goes to the Saints in 2016 as an assistant head coach / tight ends coach for 5 seasons with the Saints. And once again, their record is always great, but you can't tell me this is because of Dan Campbell on the squad now. Saints going 7-9 his first year, then 11-5, then 13-3, then 13-3, then 12-4. So once again, I mean, that's not Dan Campbell doing that. That's Drew Brees, Sean Payton. And then he finally gets a head coaching job with the Lions this year. So I just can't get behind the man. Nobody bought on this man as a head coach after the 2015 season when he was an interim head coach. Nobody kind of wanted to take a leap of faith. But now, since he learned from under Sean Payton for 5 years, now everybody wants to give him a chance. Well, not everybody, only the Lions did, and that's still not a good franchise to kind of start your kind of coaching career on. But I just can't get behind him, folks. I'm sorry. I can't. His record is inflated, with every team he's been on. He's 98-78, but once again, it's inflated because these Saints years. I mean, once again, that's not Dan Campbell turning this team around. Now, Dan Campbell's a good tight ends coach. I would kind of say that. I've got no problem with him coaching the tight ends, but his kind of coaching style is not head coaching material, folks. Just tell me this. Have you seen Andy Reid? Have you seen Bill Belichick? Have you seen Sean Payton? Have you seen John Harbaugh? Have you seen Kyle Shanahan's a good head coach? You got to give him credit. He's been to two Super Bowls. You got to give him credit. Who else is a good head coach in this league? Who am I forgetting? Doug Peterson, solid. Have you seen any of those coaches do anything Dan Campbell has? Not a great look. So we'll see what he does, but I'm not buying into it, folks. I'm just gonna blatantly say it. I'm not buying into Dan Campbell at all. 0. So that's Dan Campbell. All right. The other thing we have to kind of talk about early here on is Jared Goff. He's their quarterback. He's their guy. How is Jared Goff looking? Because according to Sean McVay, he's not the guy. You're not that guy, pal. You're not that guy. Trust me. You're not that guy. That's Jared Goff. It's unfortunate, folks. But, Jared Goff got to a Super Bowl, floundered in it, and really has just, Sean Payton has just been chomping at the bit to get rid of this man. And now he finally has Matthew Stafford. And folks, I mean, everything that's coming out of the Rams is Sean McVay saying Super Bowl. Is Sean McVay saying Matthew Stafford's the greatest thing I've ever seen. It's that. Everyone's boasting, everyone's gushing on this Rams team. Nobody was gushing about this Rams team when it was Jared Goff at the helm. They're like, yeah, it's good, but they got Jared Goff at the helm. Yeah, this Rams team is absolutely great and they could win the Super Bowl, but they got Jared Goff at the helm. So Jared Goff paired up with Dan Campbell. I mean, Jared Goff wasn't even making Sean McVay work. And you're going to lead me to believe that Dan Campbell's going to make Jared Goff work? Yikes. Big yikes here, folks. I'm talking zoinkies. What is it? Zoinks from Scooby-Doo? Jinkies? Zoinks? It's all of them here, folks. It's all of the Scooby-Doo ad-libs mixed into one for this Lions team. Not great. So Jared Goff, let's just see what he's done. Can we get behind this man? So here we go. First season. Now I believe he had Jeff Fisher that first year. They go 0-7. He only started 7 games, 54% completion percentage. Absolutely abysmal, but it's his rookie year. We'll give him a little bit of a break. Year 2, a little bit better. Played 15 games, went 11-4, 62% completion percentage, 3,800 yards, 28 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. Now, you get Sean McVay now. Everything's kind of being good. The team overall is good. But yeah, the record is good for 11-4. But Jared Goff's stats are just a little subpar here. And I mean, folks, we're kind of in this new age of where we're going to have to kind of change our numbers. The last kind of 2-3 seasons, the numbers have been increasing. So our kind of standpoint here is still even a little low, a little light on really what it should be. And we're going to figure out that number as this season progresses. But just the numbers that we like to see, Jared Goff's like on the light side of them, folks. The light of the light side that we are going to have to change the numbers to this season. So, second year, yeah, they went 11-4, but light numbers, 62% completion percentage. That's light, folks. We like 62 to 65, and he's at 62. So, a little light there. 3,800 yards. We want to see 4,000. He did do 2-to-1 to interception ratio, touchdown to interception ratio, which is real good. He actually did 4-to-1, which is really great. 28 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. That I can get behind. But every other number was a little low, a little light. Then in 2018, once again, real great records. 13-3. He threw for 64% completion percentage. Real solid right there. I love it. 4,600 yards. That's fantastic. 32 touchdowns, 12 interceptions. So 2-to-1. Very, very close to 3-to-1. So a really great year there. But then took a little bit of a step back the following year in 2019. Only went 9-7 this year. He threw for only 62% completion percentage again. He threw for 4,600 yards again. Fantastic, but the interceptions rose and the touchdowns dropped significantly. 22 touchdowns, 16 interceptions. That's not even 2-to-1. So we had one great year by Jared Goff, an outlier year, but now we're starting to kind of resort back to not great. And then just last season, 9-6 record. 9-6 record. 67% completion percentage. That's great, but 3,900 yards, 20 touchdowns, 13 interceptions. So, yeah, we have the record come down. We had the completion percentage go up. The yards come down. The touchdowns come down. The interceptions kind of come up a little bit. It's just like, it's not great here. Solid records. Overall, solid stats. I mean, he's throwing career 63%. I'll get behind that a little bit. But overall, that's what you were doing at your max with kind of offensive guru Sean McVay. Now, offensive guru Sean McVay narrative is going to be in question this season, seeing if he can get it working with Matthew Stafford and if he can kind of still win with Matthew Stafford. So that's going to be challenged. That narrative is going to be challenged this season. But at the end of the day, this is kind of Jared Goff's max potential. And Dan Campbell is nowhere near kind of even a good head coach where Sean McVay level is. So we can expect this production to come down from Jared Goff and not be as good as this kind of 2-year stretch in 2017, 2018 when they made the Super Bowl and all that, going 11-4 and 13-3. Now, I just want to quickly look at what he did in the postseason. Was this man putting up good numbers in the postseason? We know competition is harder in the postseason than it is the regular season. So, yeah, the regular season numbers are good, but what is these postseason numbers looking like? Is he getting it done in the playoffs? Let's quickly take a look. Year one. Well, first year in the playoffs, 2017. First game against Atlanta, they lose 26-13. He only threw 53% completion percentage, 259 yards, 1 touchdown, no picks. But at 53% completion percentage, that's real bad, folks. Then we get 2018 year where they went to the Super Bowl. Game 1, they win 30-22. But once again, he only threw for 53% completion percentage, 186 yards, 0 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. That's not a good game. Defense carrying you, running game carrying you. Then game 2 of that playoff run. They beat the Saints 26-23. Close game. He threw for only 62% completion percentage, 297 yards. That's real solid. I'll give him that. 1 touchdown, 1 pick. Not the greatest. Then we get to the Super Bowl, and we all know how that went. They only put up 3 points. Absolutely trash. 50% completion percentage, 229 yards, 0 touchdowns, 1 pick. So once again, this is not great playoff numbers than just this season. Against the Seahawks, they win 30-20. He threw 47% completion percentage, trash, 155 yards, very light, 1 touchdown, no pick, not terrible. And then they go to Green Bay and get beat. He threw for a really great 77% completion percentage, but get this, only 174 yards. So on 21 completions, only 174 yards. Dink and dunk. Not getting it done. He did have 1 touchdown, 0 picks. Not bad overall. But then you ended up losing by 2 possessions, 32-18. So not truly being that great. So overall, Jared Goff, even in the playoffs, is not great. So even if somehow the Lions get to the playoffs, Jared Goff is not going to be performing that well. So we can't really expect a great season overall from this Lions team just by the head coach and the quarterback. Don't think it's really going to mesh very well together. But let's just take a overall another look on what this Lions team was doing. So let's get up this Lions team. Last season, what did they do? And then we'll see how they kind of compared to all the other teams offensively and defensively last year to see if these other players, these other coaches can kind of make up for the lack of head coach and the lack of just kind of great quarterback play by Jared Goff. So Lions last year went 5-11. 5-11. Not great. We're adding an extra game this season, so we'll see how they fare there. So Lions went 5-11 last season. Let's see where they just kind of stacked up on offense and defensive side of the ball. So let's start here with offense. Where was this Lions offense ranked? I'm just going to start at the bottom. I'm just going to start at the bottom and work our way up to the top. It'll be kind of faster that way. So offensively, this Lions team was ranked actually a little bit higher than I thought they would be. 20th overall, not bad. They put up 5,600 yards. The average was 5,700, so slightly below average in just yards. Points, they put up 377 points, which is slightly below the average of 396. It was better than the Jets, who only put up 243 points. The Giants only put up 280, so not bad there. We'll give them that credit. So just kind of just slightly below average so far as this team. Passing, they put up 4,100 passing yards. Now, that was above the average of 3,800, so that's above average. That's something that we can buy into maybe a little bit. Rushing yards, they rushed for 1,400. I'll round it up to 1,500. It's 1,499. So 1,500 rushing yards, and the average was 1,900. So very, very well below the rushing average there. So we can blame that on offensive line, and we can blame that on running back, and we'll see which one is truly it. So not the greatest offensively, below average. Now let's see where they ranked defensively. Do they have a good defense? Is that something we can buy into? The Lions defense. Let's quickly take a look. Once again, I'm going to start from the bottom and work our way up to the top. And there they are, very, very dead last at the bottom defensively. So Lions ranked 32nd defensively. Let's see why. They gave up 519 points, folks, the most by far, and the average was only 396. You gave up 100 and plus more points defensively? Jeez, you're not winning games like that, baby. So trash defense. They gave up a total of 6,700 yards, the most. That is the most, folks. 6,700 yards, the most given up. The average was 5,700. So you gave up 100 more points. You gave up 1,000 more yards. Absolutely not great. Is this first downs given up? They gave up 415 first downs. That's most by far. By far, the average was 347 first downs. Once again, very, very close to like 80 plus first downs given up. Then the average, trash. Passing yards, they gave up 4,500 passing yards. The average was 3,800. Trash there. They gave up 2,100 rushing yards. The average was only 1,900, so slightly below average there, but not bad. So their rushing defense is the best thing about this team, and it's still not the greatest. So overall, offensively, defensively, defense is big problem here. Offense was just meh last season. All right, so that's not great here. Offense is trash, defense is trash, head coach is trash. Not the recipe for success, if you ask me. But let's see what they did in this offseason. Did they get better? Did they fix all these problems? Let's quickly take a look. So let's see what they did in the offseason. Here we go. Which team are we looking for? The Lions, the bad Lions here. All right, here we go. If I can click on it. Here we go. Detroit Lions. Let's see what they did in the offseason. Let's see who they lost. Let's see who they got. So here we go. Off-season additions. They get Alex Anzalone, who was a linebacker for the Saints last season. They bring in Brashad Perryman, a wide receiver. I believe he's pretty tall. Brashad Perryman might be like 6'3". Let me see really quickly, because y'all know I'm big on the height. I want to see tall wide receivers. Let's see what Brashad Perryman is doing. He's 6'2", so solid height there. Never caught for 1,000 yards, which is a little concerning. That's not tier 1 in our mind. So a solid tier 2 wide receiver. We'll see if he can come alive. Spent his time with the Ravens, the Browns, the Bucks, and the Jets. So once again, kind of passed around the league a little bit. All right, they bring in Charles Harris, an edge rusher. They bring in Corn Elder, a cornerback. Interesting. Is he going to be a starting cornerback? I've never heard of Corn Elder, folks. So let's bring up this Lions depth chart very quickly. See where they have him ranked at, and just see who these Lions corners are anyway. So they got Jeff Okudah and Amani Urowe. Butchered that name. I apologize, truly. He only had 1 interception, 7 pass defenses, no forced fumbles, just an all right. He is 6'2", so that's pretty solid by him. I will get behind that. So Jeff Okuda's real solid. Let's take a quick look at what he was been doing, shutting down these receivers. Jeff Okuda. Love this website, playerprofile.com. We can see what these corners are doing against the wide receiver. So he didn't play every game last season, missed like the last couple weeks of the season. Unfortunate. Let's see what he was doing against these wide receivers. So, okay. Against Marquez Valdes-Scantling, 4 of 7 for 81 yards. A little bit of a burn there. Against DeAndre Hopkins, 10 of 12 for 126 yards. He had an interception, but still a little bit of a burn there. Against Emmanuel Sanders, 1 of 2 for -2 yards. That's a real good lockup. Against Calvin Ridley, 7 of 10 for 68 yards. That's not bad there by Calvin Ridley. He's real great. Against Justin Jefferson, 3 of 3 for 60 yards. Kind of a burn there. Against DJ Moore, 6 of 6 for 83 yards. Kind of a burn there. So he's not a true lockdown, not even against kind of tier 2 wide receivers. So not the greatest there. He's definitely going to have to be a little bit better. Let me see what this Corn man is doing, folks. Corn Elder. What? What is he? What do we got? Corn Elder. He's like 5th string corner, so can't even be good. Okay. What else do we get? Who else do they bring in? They bring in Jamal Williams, a rusher, running back. They get Quentin Dunbar at a cornerback position. Fantastic. They have him as in the 2nd string. Real interesting there. All right. And then what else do we got? They got Romeo Okora. They re-sign him, and they get Tyrell Williams, another wide receiver, who is now their main wide receiver. Tyrell Williams is their number 1 wide receiver. Real interesting. He's 6'4", so hopefully they can do something with that great height that they've got here on this Lions team. All right, now let's see who they lost. They lost Duran Harmon, the safety. They lost Gerard Davis, a linebacker. They lost Kenny Galladay, their best wide receiver that they have. They lost Marvin Jones Jr., probably their 2nd best wide receiver that they had. And then they lost an offensive guard, Ode Aboshi. So their offensive line gets a little bit worse there. Alrighty, not great. Not a lot of great pickups kind of compared to who they lost, really. They gain Corn Elder, but they lose Kenny Galladay. Yeah, what are we doing here? All right. Now let's take a quick look at their offensive line, and then we'll see what they did in the draft, and then we'll see what they just did overall in the offseason. But I want to see where their offensive line is ranked, just so we can see where their rushing game is going to go, because I am a decent fan of DeAndre Swift. I thought he kind of got his shit together in the back half of the season. Little struggles early, but he was a rookie, so we gave him, a little bit of a benefit of the doubt. And now you bring in DeAndre Swift back again year 2, and then you got Jamal Williams rushing behind him, a solid rusher as well. Only 500 yards last season, but I mean, he's the number 2 there. So we can kind of, he's always been the number 2 running back for this kind of Green Bay team. So not a bad kind of addition here to push DeAndre Swift. So the running game could be solid. It's something I think should be kind of, heavily relied upon. Kind of make the games go a little bit quicker. Don't throw the ball too much because of Jared Goff a little bit. And just kind of let your defense dictate the game while you chew out this clock rushing the ball. So if this offensive line is solid, maybe we can buy this Lions team a little bit more. So let's see where this Lions offensive line ended up ranking at the end of last season compared to everybody else. We are kind of taking Pro Football Reference's word for it, not 100% as the gospel, but just a nice little kind of benchmark that we can kind of relate to. So they have the Detroit Lions as 13th best offensive line in the league. That's not bad. Let's see what they say about it. Another year, another season of improved play from Frank Ragnow, who is asserting himself as one of the league's top young interior offensive linemen. His 80.3 PFF grade in 2020 ranked 2nd at the center position, and it came behind career-high grades both in pass protection and as run blocking. The fact that he played through a fractured throat late in the season, geez Louise, I didn't even know you can do that. Shout out to him. Only adds to the notion that this is a guy you don't want to mess with in the trenches. Truly that. If this man is playing with a fractured throat, I don't want to know what this man can do. I'm not playing with the fractured throat. My throat is fractured. I am in bed resting. I can't talk, coach. I can't even talk. My throat is fractured. I didn't even know my throat could fracture, but here we are. Me in bed eating soup. I'm sorry I couldn't be out there, coach. All right. There were shuffling pieces along the line this season, but the play from both Ragnow and left tackle Taylor Decker fresh off of a contract extension this offseason, helps stabilize the group. The Lions will be hoping for a second-year jump in Jonah Jackson at guard in 2021 to help take the unit to the next level. And we all know that with their first pick in this year's draft, they go out and get Penei Sewell. So once again, shoring up that offensive line. So this offensive line for Detroit could be real solid, folks. This could be a real solid line here, which, improves the rushing game, protects Jared Goff, all of that, which makes, Dan Campbell's life a little bit easier when you're not having your quarterback sacked, and that's not the main focus of every single press conference. What are you going to do about the line? Did Jared Goff get hit too much? Are you going to keep running the ball? What are you doing? The line is not holding up. So this line could be the best thing for this Lions team. And if Dan Campbell just takes this slowly but surely, one game at a time, they could be able to kind of move the ball decently because of this great offensive line play. So let's go to their draft now and just quickly take a look at what they were doing for the entire draft. Like we know, their first round pick, let's see what they were doing for the rest of the draft. So let's bring up Detroit Lions here. If I can find their squad, here we go. Alrighty, Penei Sewell. I didn't love the pick. I thought it was a little bit of an overreach. I'm not 100% sold on Penei Sewell. We kind of looked at him. He was like, all right. It was like kind of average. It's not like he was kind of blowing my mind. And when we were kind of looking at him in our kind of draft shows, when we were looking at a draft prospect every single day. So Penei Sewell, I'm not going to fully get behind him. He is kind of the highest graded offensive lineman in this year's draft. I thought it was a little bit of an overreach at 7th overall, though. So they get Penei Sewell, offensive tackle. Is he in their starting rotation? I believe he is. Yeah, they're moving him to right tackle because they don't want to move Taylor Decker. So Penei Sewell, he was left tackle. Going to have to learn the right side. We'll see if he can do that. So the offensive line is looking real solid here, folks. All right, what else do we get here? They get a defensive tackle with the second pick and the third round pick. Interesting there. Third round, they also get another corner. So they had two third round picks, excuse me. One on a defensive tackle, one on the corner. Fourth round, they go wide receiver, a 6-foot wide receiver. Okay, nothing special. Then in the fourth round, they also get Derek Barnes, a linebacker. And then in the 7th round with their last pick, they get a running back just to kind of shore it up a little bit. So they go heavy on offensive tackle, defensive tackle, and cornerback with their kind of, anything out of the top 3 rounds is really nothing great. Honestly, anything out of the first top 10 picks is nothing great. So that's just how I see it. But they kind of focus on their linemen and their defensive pressure and their defensive corner. So we'll see how they do here. Let's see what their overall total defense is looking like here with their starters. Trey Flowers, Jamie Collins, that's real great to have on your linebacking core. Jeff Okudah, solid there. What else do we get? Pass rushers. We got Levi. That's their draft pick. Levi Onwuzurike and Michael Brockers, their other defensive end. What did he do last season? 5 sacks, not terrible. So we'll see if he can kind of get great production as well. So overall, we're really going to have to see true veteran leadership from Trey Flowers and Jamie Collins. Definitely got to get it done here. Lead the young guns. And then the offensive lineman up front doing it all for DeAndre Swift. I can get behind DeAndre Swift a little bit. Let's go to his stats very quickly. I just want to kind of take a look at his back half of the season stats because I believe they kind of started to increase a little bit. So like we said, only 521 yards rushing. He did have 357 receiving. So this could be a solid kind of dual threat running back in the league, passing and rushing. So not bad. Alrighty. Where did his best game come from? 116 rushing yards in week 5. Kind of got off to a little bit of a slow start. First 3 games, 8 yards rushing, 12 yards rushing, 0 yards rushing, 22 yards rushing. And then he hit the breakout game of 116 and then kind of returned to turtle form of 27 yards and 1 yard on 6 attempts. That's real not great. But then started to kind of hit his stride kind of at the back end of the season. 64 yards, 81 yards rushing, and then goes 3 weeks inactive, and then goes for 24, 67, 45, and 54. So overall, not terrible. Trying to just being real solid at the back end of the season. But we definitely have to see a little bit of an upgrade over this, and we can expect that from a year kind of 2 leap a little bit. Catching the ball, receiving the ball, anything good? Kind of, once again, kind of got his form. Well, he was always really solid. He had 60 yards receiving week 2, which was his second highest. His highest was 68 week 9. And then the last 4 games coming off the inactive list, 26 yards receiving, 15, 25, 16. So, once again, just an overall all-right player. Where did he go? He went second round. Okay, that's a little bit light for a second-round pick. Little tad light. So we need to see a little bit of a solid step up here from DeAndre Swift in the offensive line game. Should be able to help that a little bit. All right, wide receivers. They get Tyrell Williams, Brashad Perryman. Brashad Perryman with 500 yards last season. Quintez Cephas, what did he do? 349 yards. He's 6'1". So they got some nice height here. Just not really any A1 tier 1 wide receivers. They do have TJ Hawkinson, a solid tight end at 6'5", 723 yards last season. Y'all know we are big at tight end university, and I am almost certain he was invited there, so we can give them a couple extra bonus points at the tight end position. But let's quickly take a double check. I'm like 99% certain he was. But I'll go to this article. Y'all know I love bringing up this article right here, showing all the tight ends that were invited to Tight End University. And let's look for our man TJ Hawkinson, and here he is. So hopefully you learned a little bit from Darren Waller, learned a little bit from Travis Kelce, George Kittle, and can improve his game a little bit here. So, we'll see if Jared Goff kind of, locks up TJ Hawkinson and gives him a good year production-wise receiving the ball, because we're talking about 1,000-yard tight ends now, folks. How crazy. That's the new generation. If you're not catching 1,000 yards as a tight end, you're not making a true impact. So, TJ Hawkinson, 700 yards last season, real great. Let's see if we can give him a little bit more. So overall, just truly a rebuilding team. This is the last thing we have to look at for our team refresher. Let's see what Bleacher Report is just saying on the overall offseason of this Lions team, and then we'll go through their schedule and see how many wins we can give them. So here we go. Key additions, obviously Jared Goff, Jamal Williams, Tyrell Williams, Brashad Perryman, edge rusher Romeo Okoro, Michael Brockers, Quentin Dunbar, cornerback. Key draft additions, obviously, like we said, Penei Sewell. They list all their draft additions because they are so key, because they have no players. Key departures, like we said, Matthew Stafford, Kenny Galladay, Marvin Jones Jr., Jamal Agnew, Jesse James, defensive tackle Danny Shelton, linebacker Gerard Davis, cornerback Desmond Trufant, Justin Coleman, another corner. So truly just losing all their good pieces here. Really nothing left. The 2 linebackers are solid kind of still pieces here that were with the Lions for at least like a year, maybe even 2 years under another trash coach, and Patrick, what's his name? Blanking on the name. We all know who he is. He's trash. Patrick something? I want to say Patrick. Patrick is kind of sounding right. Kind of. Not his first name. Dan Patrick? Not Dan Patrick. Who? Man, it's going to kill me. Trash Beard Man. Y'all know. Okay, but here we go. Little quick write-up here of the offseason of the Lions. Here we go. It might have been time for a fresh start after 12 seasons and no playoff victories with Stafford at quarterback for the Detroit Lions. But Jared Goff, ? The dude has completely lost it ever since bombing in the Super Bowl 2 years ago, and his and Stafford's dead cap charge totaled $29.7 million this year and $31.2 million in 2022. Beyond that, the Lions downgrade by replacing Kenny Galladay and Jones with Williams and Perryman. Yeah, big downgrade there. Jared Goff, I'm not 100% selling him just quite yet, but yeah, the wide receivers, absolutely. Although St. Brown was a steal in round 4 and could help that receiving core immediately, that offensive line admittedly looks stacked now that Sewell is joining Tyler Decker and Frank Ragnow and Halapa Vieta and Jonah Jackson, but it remains tough to get excited about the offense in general. Exactly kind of what we've been saying all show. The defense at least gets Okurara back and brings in Brockers to work with Trey Flowers on the edge, and they add a bunch of bulk and ferocity to that unit with 3 day 2 selections up front and a corner. But the jury is still very much out on those guys because they are rookies, and there are still major questions about the linebacking core and secondary. Altogether, this Lions team doesn't look significantly better than the one that won just 5 games in 2020. They give them a C grade for their offseason moves. Alrighty, so we'll see what Jared Goff can do with these kind of tier 2 wide receivers. I mean, he was working with Cooper Kupp and Reynolds there with the Rams, who really aren't tier 1 wide receivers, but they're definitely better than what this Lions team has. He's been working with kind of Darrell Henderson, Cam Akers in the running game, which is definitely better than DeAndre Swift. So just overall, Jared Goff is just going to a worse overall team, and we are going to need him to step it up. Is that going to happen? I don't really think so. Plus, on top of that, you have just a really subpar defense. No real big names overall. The offensive line is the best thing about this team, and Dan Campbell is an unproven head coach that I just don't buy into at all, and I frankly don't see how players can buy into him and what he does and what he says. So with all that being said, let's go through their schedule and see how many wins we can possibly see this Lions team getting. It's 17 games this season. They've gone 0-16 before. Will they set the record again? Let's take a quick look. All right, here we go. Week 1. Week 1 against the 49ers. I can't give them a win there. No way. It's, pretty much Jimmy G who's going to be healthy. This 49ers team should be healthy week 1, which was kind of the knocks on them the last 2 seasons. Definitely last season. So 49ers should be healthy, and I can't see the Lions team competing. They are at home, which is the best silver lining for this kind of matchup, but I can't give them a win there. Week 2 at Green Bay, yeah, right. On Monday Night Football, yeah, right. Dan Campbell, let's see how you prepare this team for a nationally televised game, because I think they're going to get absolutely rolled there. Rolled. So 2 straight losses. Then they're back at home Week 3 against the Ravens. Once again, it's just that defense stopping Lamar Jackson. I don't think so. Jared Goff throwing against those 2 great corners in the Ravens, and Marlon Humphrey, and I'm blanking on the other, but they're both great. Can't see that happening either. Then you go in Chicago. A winnable game, but I'm going to like whatever quarterback is out there for the Bears. I'm sure it's going to be Justin Fields by week 4, and the defense is getting after the offense of the Lions, so can't really see them beating the Bears. Then they go on the road against the Vikings. Not really a great chance there. This Vikings team has a real great offense that really should be able to handle the Lions, no problem. Then you go to the Bengals, and this is probably they're at home for the Bengals, so I'm going to give them a win there against the Bengals. This is a winnable game. I'm not 100% sold on Joe Burrow. I really think Tua's going to kind of pass him overall. Justin Herbert freaking skyrocketed right past Joe Burrow, but I'm not 100% sold on Joey B and just the overall team makeup of this Bengals team with their defense as well. So I'm going to give the Lions a win here against the Bengals. Then they go on the road against the Rams. That's going to be a game that Sean McVay must win, and he will win that game. Can't give him a win there. Then they're at home against the Eagles. Winnable game going into the bye. Very, very winnable game here. It's going to all depend on how well this Eagles team is offensively, and I just don't think it may quite be there. So I'm actually going to give them a win against the Eagles as well right before the bye. Coming off of the bye, they have to go and face the Steelers on the road. That's a big loss there. That Steelers defense should kind of just clown the Lions offense. Then they go and face the Browns in Cleveland. Once again, I don't think the defense of the Lions will be able to keep up with this Browns team. Then they go and face the Bears again, this time at home. Don't think they'll win that game either. It's Thanksgiving Day. Dan Campbell, primetime Thanksgiving Day game. Is he going to get his team ready to rock? I just don't see it. Then they go and face the Vikings again, this time at home. Once again, I just think the offense is too good for their defense. Then they go to Mile High against the Broncos. Once again, that Broncos defense should be able to smother the offense pretty solidly. Then they go and face the Cardinals. You're not stopping that offense. I don't care what you say. Then you go and face the Falcons, and it's Kyle Pitts. I mean, who's going to stop Kyle Pitts? Nobody. Nobody can stop Kyle Pitts on this Lions team. And then you're also on the road, so I can't give them a win there. Then they go and face the Seahawks in Seattle. Yeah, good luck there with Jamal Adams roaming around. He's looking at Jared Goff like chopped liver. And then you finish off the season against the Packers. Once again, not a win unless the Packers are just resting everybody because they already locked up that number 1 seed. So, not a real great schedule here. Real tough opponents. No real softballs. Bengals, Eagles, that's your best chance at a win. Maybe you split against the Bears. Maybe you split against the Vikings. Maybe you can beat the Broncos and the Falcons for 2 more wins. I'm just not seeing it here with Dan Campbell, folks. So, I'm going to call it 2-15. 2-15 for this Lions team, and I would say probably 5 wins max. I can't really see them doing any more than 5 wins, and those other wins, obviously, like we said, probably splitting against the Bears, maybe splitting against the Vikings, and maybe picking up a win against the Broncos or the Falcons, but I can't really see them beating any other team. So let's write this up in our notes here, our list. The Lions, 2-15, unfortunately, max 5 wins. And now, where do we put this Lions team? At the very bottom. I'm definitely taking this Saints team over the Lions. Lions will probably end up being our very, very bottom of the barrel team, just because I can't. What am I going to trust an offensive line to get the entire wins, to get the entire season done? When has that ever happened? Can't get behind it. So Lions 2-15. Unfortunate. So tomorrow we'll spin the wheel, do a new team, and get our season refresher on that. Alrighty, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. We are back tomorrow live noon Eastern. But before we go, are there any breaking news? Anything breaking news? Where are we talking the breaking news? News that is breaking. Anything good? Does not seem anything has been breaking. We keep on going. Alrighty. Does not seem like anything's breaking. Alrighty. So that's going to do it for us today, folks. We will be back tomorrow every day. We're here every day, folks. Y'all didn't know we were here every day. We are here every day, noon Eastern. Be here or be square. You understand me? Alrighty. Okay. So we're out of here. No, nothing breaking. We're out of here. We're truly out of here. This is the last time we're saying it. We are out of here.